You probably know what a double run is. It's two runs of 3 for 6 points, and a pair for 2 points. It can look like this. When I was first taught how to play cribbage and started to pick up some basic strategy, one of the first strategies I remember being taught was to never break up a double run. Meaning, if you were dealt a hand that contained a double run, you should always keep it intact by discarding the other 2 cards. You should never discard in a way that breaks it apart. So for this example, the 5-5-6-7 would be kept, and the Jack-Queen discarded. Maybe, like me, you were given the same advice. On the surface, it seems like there's some truth to this, just based on a notional understanding of cribbage strategy and hands being improved by different cut cards. But I wanted to know how much truth there is. So I decided to try to answer this question in a logical way, and being the numbers nerd that I am, by using math and statistics. This video is about double runs. Should they always be kept? This is my attempt to find out. This golden rule of cribbage of always keeping a double run, where does it come from, and is this rule fact or is it a myth? The rule is based around the logic of a high probability, a high likelihood, of getting a beneficial cut card. Some folks call this the flipped card, but a cut card that leads to more points and therefore improves your hand. Going back to the example, the double run of 5-5-6-7 might be worth holding on to, as the following cuts would improve this hand. An ace? No. 2, yes. 3, yes. 4, yes. 5, 6, 7, yes. 8, yes. 9, yes. 10, Jack, Queen, King. The only card that wouldn't help this hand is an ace. So this hand improves with 12 out of 13 cuts, and gives credence to the strategy of holding on to double runs whenever possible, because of the high likelihood that the flipped card will earn you more points. But should double runs be kept intact 100% of the time? I wanted to find out. First, I had to determine how many cribbage hands contain a double run. To do this, I wrote a small program. In this program, I have Excel generating random cribbage hands. For any given hand, I've programmed a script to calculate how many double runs that hand contains. When I run the program, Excel will spit out thousands of hands at random, along with a count of double runs for each one. Each time the program runs, it automatically removes duplicate hands, and the program keeps running until the entire list of hands is complete. I'll run it now to show one iteration. In the interest of time, for this demonstration, I've set my code to generate 1,000 hands, even though I could set it to 100,000. Any duplicates are automatically removed, the list is automatically sorted numerically, and the number of double runs contained in each hand is shown. So after this program finished running, I had a complete list of every cribbage hand and the number of double runs contained in each one. Let's break these hands into categories. First category is hands that do not contain a single double run. An example would be 2-3, 6-8, 9 Jack. Next, hands that contain only one double run. An example is Ace, 3-4, 5-5, 10. There are hands that contain two double runs, such as 2, 8-8, 9-9, 10. So there's the 8-8, 9-10 double run, and 8-9-9, 10. Hands that contain three double runs, an example is 6-7-7-8-9-9. So within this hand, there's 6-7-7-8, 7-7-8-9, and 7-8-9-9. And finally, hands that contain four double runs, such as ace 2-2, 3-3-4. See if you can spot the 4 different double runs in this hand. You have ace 2-2-3, ace 2-3-3, 2-2-3-4, and 2-3-3-4. The breakdown looks like this. 87.4% of all cribbage hands do not contain any double runs. Hands that contain only one double run account for 9.4% of all hands. Hands containing 2 double runs account for nearly 3% of all hands. And hands containing either 3 double runs or 4 double runs are a very low percentage of all possible hands. So overall, there's a 12.64% chance of getting dealt a hand that contains 1 or more double runs. That's approximately 1 out of every 8 hands. Now that I know the hands that contain double runs, I can perform an analysis to find out, for those hands, whether the double run should always be kept or not. In other words, is keeping the double run the best discarding strategy? How I went about finding out was by looking at the hands containing only a single double run and calculating the expected averages for each. What I wanted to see was, does the discard option that maximizes hand potential, the optimal discard, keep the double run intact, or does it break apart the double run? To show what I mean, let's return to the example of 5-5-6-7 Jack Queen. As dealer, the best discard option for this hand is 6-7 because it has the highest expected average value. What this means is the optimal discard to your own crib hand is the 6-7 because doing so will, on average, maximize the net total points between your hand and your crib hand. This discard option would mean keeping 5-5 Jack Queen and therefore breaking apart the double run. As the non-dealer, the best discard option is to discard the Jack Queen to the dealer. So this option would keep the double run intact in your hand. So this is the analysis I did for every hand that contains one double run. Here's what I found. There are 1,727 hands that contain only one double run. As dealer, 135 times out of 1,727 hands, the optimal discard would break apart the double run, so 8% of the time. And an example of this is the hand I just covered, 5-5-6-7 Jack Queen, where the optimal discard to your own crib hand is 6-7. As the non-dealer, 190 times out of 1,727, so slightly more often, the optimal discard meant breaking apart the double run, so 11% of the time. And an example hand would be 3-3-8-9-9-10, where discarding 8-10 to the dealer's crib hand is the optimal discard, but doing so breaks the double run. Here's a summary. As dealer, the optimal discard would break apart the double run 8% of the time. So the inverse of this tells us, as dealer, if you're dealt a double run, keeping the double run is the best option 92% of the time. 100% minus 8% is 92%. As the non-dealer, keeping the double run is the best option 89% of the time. Both of these figures are reasonably high. Essentially, if you're dealt 10 hands in a row, and each of them contains a double run, 9 times out of 10 you should keep it and discard the other 2 cards, whatever they might be. These results seem to confirm that the conventional wisdom, this golden rule of never breaking up a double run, is grounded in some mathematical logic. It perhaps makes sense that this strategy is imparted to beginner players, like it was taught to me when I was first learning how to play cribbage, as a general guideline to follow. All things being equal, always keep the double run. However, as we can see from these percentages, it's not 100% perfect. As your skill level progresses and you find yourself looking for ways to take your game to the next level, this strategy shouldn't be followed to a T. As always, these decisions should always be made with consideration to board position and expected average. Thanks so much for watching.